Again, anyone wishing to set up in the jury box is more than willing to seats a little more comfortable in the benches.
Sorry, sir. We're ready, yes, sir.
All right. We're going to, at this time, we will take public comments, which will be off the record in the cases that we're here today. Is there anyone here wanting to make a public comment before? If you would, we'd like you to make them at this time.
So you did not want me to take that?
No. Seeing none, we're going to proceed then to take the cases in the agenda today. Everything today that you'll be doing will be recorded by the court reporter over here, Mrs. Stump. We are going to handle the cases as published on the agenda. They may not be in that order, but we're going to handle them on everyone that's on that agenda. And I will announce the board will be the circuit clerk, Cahokia, the state's attorney, Brendan Kelly, and I'll be the chairman, and the county clerk, Tom Holbrook. With that, everyone was provided that was involved in these cases today that were put on notice. Were given rules of procedure. I take a motion right now to adopt those rules. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Kelly. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Clay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
They are adopted. Okay. Today it's the intent of the board to take the case of Rayford and Baker versus Cahokia hometown team, Whitworth, Santo, Reed, Scrum, and McClellan, Village of Cahokia, mayor, clerk, and districts 1, 2, and 3 trustees as the first item on the agenda. Is there any motions or any preliminary matters before we get into these cases?
Go ahead, sorry, Paul.
Well, mine is a preliminary even before this case, and it's
Okay.
the issue of subpoena. But if you wish to wait for that topic till after this case, my issue of subpoena does not pertain to this case.
Okay. We would love to address that issue after this case is concluded.
Yes.
Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, I would just like to give my interim appearance to everybody, so you have, I know Garrett was on these prior to. I'd also, if I could, ask the board to take notice of what I'm going to mark as petitioners 1. Which is the, you have one of these?
Is that the objection?
No, this is just going to be the election results.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you said what?
The election results from April 7, 2015. Okay.
Will the record show that Mr. Chip Kelly with the firm of Foley Kelly is hereby entering appearance on behalf of petitioner Jeffrey Rayford Sr. and Audra Baker in this case? Does the record show? And that he has entered Exhibit 1 as the election results of the consolidated election of April 7, 2015.
Also, if the board could then take notice of the nomination papers of the respondents, along with the verified objection petition.
The nomination paper. I don't have that in here.
Nope. That wasn't included in the packet.
Do you have the originals?
We had one of the originals in the box over here.
Did you want that one?
Yes, please.
Could you speak up?
Do we have the originals? I was asking the chair if we had the originals.
Laura, will you check the box of originals in the case, in this case, and see if we have them? They're not included in the objection. For the record, Laura Kemmer is the head of the election department here in St. Clair County, and she's assisting us in these matters. For the record, so that.
Mr. Kelly, do you have any other things we need to take notice of?
Those are the only 3 things.
Nomination day. Yeah, the petitions that they have signed. And those on the Cahokia hometown team party. They weren't included when we got them from the village with the objection. Should be a packet just like this one. Only probably like not as good.
I'm sorry, if you want it on the record, you don't need to speak up, please.
have them? Were these the ones provided by the village clerk to us?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Are we good?
We are, yes, sir.
Okay, just to proceed with the argument, Section 10.2 of the Illinois Election Code pertinently provides that the entire petition, including all components, must be signed by a total of qualified voters of the entire political subdivision equaling in number not less than 5% of the number of voters who voted at the next preceding regular election, which is why I handed out the election results of 2015 to the board so that they could see the number that voted. The number voted was 3,919, thus 5% of that would be 195.95, which would mean that you need 196 signatures. However, we're contesting that Cahokia Hometown Teen Party's petition only contained 172 signatures after you look at who was properly registered at the address that they signed the petition. And so what I've done, and I know per the rules of procedure, the board is able to review affidavits. I have a copy of a certificate from Laura Kamer, who's a deputy county clerk, who went through each and every one of these signatures. That's the wrong one. I'm going to show you guys. I have a copy of the certificate. She sealed it with the county clerk stamp. These are just copies, so I can get copies to everybody. And I'll give the chair and the one with the certificate.
Mr. Chair, can I ask for the record who's here on behalf of the Cahokia hometown team? Are they representing?
Chairman.
Okay.
I'm sorry, your name?
Robert Whitworth.
Can I ask who else is
We
here
need-
on behalf
We
of
need to swear
that?
people in, if we're ready.
Yeah, I think we can do that.
Okay. At this time, we were gonna hold on this for just a moment, but everyone here that is either petitioned or a party to any of these cases, please rise, raise your right hand. I'm gonna say aye, you're gonna say your name, and then you're gonna swear that you'll tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and you're considered a sworn witness, and we'll be done. Everyone, and then any case today that's on our agenda, any case. I, say your name. Do solemnly swear to tell the whole truth. Nothing but the truth. So-
Nothing but the truth.
Thank you. Okay, we can continue.
Yes, sir.
Can I ask for a copy of what you gave out?
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to see who was here on your behalf. And your name, ma'am, that you asked for a copy?
Jessica McClellan.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, going item by item, petition sheet number 1, line 4, the signer was not registered at the address listed.
Yes, he is.
Well,
Ma'am, the rules of procedure that the chairman has to enforce, we let the objected party make their argument, and then the respondents will have a chance to respond.
Okay.
this comes from all this information is provided by the county clerk's deputy. And then we also have the case citing Green v. Election Board, that you have to be at the address that you're registered to sign. So petition number, sheet number 2, line 3, signer
Guys,
not
do you have a copy
registered.
of that case?
I can give you, I only have one copy, but I can show it to you.
Thank you.
So sheet number 2, line 3, signer not registered at address listed. Petition sheet number 2, line 4, signer not registered at address listed. Petition sheet number 5, line 1, signer not registered at address listed. Petition sheet number 5, line 2, signer not registered at address listed. Petition sheet number 6, line 3, signer not registered at address listed. Petition sheet number 10, line 4, signer not registered at address listed. Petition sheet number 12, line 1, the same. Petition sheet number 15, line 2, the same. Petition sheet number 16, line 2, the same. Petition sheet number 16, line 3, the same. Petition sheet number 16, line 4, the same. Petition sheet number 16, line 5, the same. Petition sheet number 17, line 1 is the same. Petition sheet number 17, line 2 is the same. Petition sheet number 17, line 3 is the same. Petition sheet number 19, line 2 is the same. Petition sheet number 19, line 3 is the same. Petition sheet number 19, line 4 is the same. Petition sheet number 20, line 1 is the same. Petition sheet number 21, line 4 is the same. Petition sheet number 22, line 3 is the same. Petition sheet number 22, line 4 is the same. Petition sheet number 24, line 1 is the same. Petition sheet number 24, line 3 is the same. Petition sheet number 24, line 4 is the same. Petition sheet number 24, line 5 is the same. Petition sheet number 25, line 1 is the same. Petition sheet number 25, line 2 is the same. Petition sheet number 25, line 4 is the same. Petition sheet number 27, line 1, the same. Petition sheet number 28, line 5, the same. Petition sheet number 30, line 1, the same. Petition sheet number 33, line 3, the same. Petition sheet number 33, line 4, the same. Petition sheet number 35, line 3, the same. Petition sheet number 37, line 4, the same. Petition sheet number 37, line 5, the same. Petition sheet number 38, line 2, the same. Petition sheet number 41, line 1, the same. Petition sheet number 44, line 1, the same. Petition sheet number 44, line 2 is the same. Petition sheet number 44, line 3 is the same. Petition sheet number 46, line 3, same problem. Petition sheet number 47, line 5, the same. Petition sheet number 48, line 1, the same. Therefore, the petition to form a new political party filed by Cahokia Home Team Party is 24 signatures short of the number required by the statute within the village of Cahokia to constitute valid nomination papers. Accordingly, the names of Robert Whitworth, Jamie Saito, Susan Reed, Beverly Shrum, and Jessica McClellan should not appear and not be printed on the ballot for the election to the offices of President/Mayor, Clerk, Trustees for Districts 1, 2, and 5 in the village of Cahokia, respectively, to be voted in April 2019.
Mr. Kelly, do you have another copy of the consolidated election results that exhibit?
I do.
That you can give to the
Yes.
other party? Do you have any further evidence or any further argument?
That's the only evidence and argument on what is basically our argument number 1 towards the party. We also argued in the alternative for Districts 1 and also Districts 5. The same types of things, that they need to be 5% and that they didn't reach that goal. And in, obviously in District, well, let's see here. So in District 1, there were 746 voters who cast ballots, which 5% would be 37.3, so you need 38 voters. However, the petition to form the new party fails because it only had 33 signatures according to the numbers we just went through. In those signatures, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they were lines, they were sheet number 1, line 4, sheet number 2, line 3, sheet number 2, line 4, sheet number 5, line 1, sheet number 5, line 2, and sheet number 6, line 3. So those 5 signatures weren't valid, and therefore they didn't reach the required number by statute within the village of Cahokia District 1 to constitute valid nomination papers. Same thing with District 5. There were 753 voters that cast their ballots in 2015, 5% of which would be 37.65, so they need 38 voters. And because of petition sheet number 22, line 4, petition sheet number 22, line 4, or sorry, line 3 and line 4, petition sheet number 24, line 1, petition sheet number 24, line 3, petition sheet number 24, line 4, petition sheet number 24, line 5, petition sheet number 25, line 1, petition sheet number 25, line 2, petition sheet number 25, line 4, petition sheet number 27, line 1, petition sheet number 28, line 5, and petition sheet number 30, line 1, it's 2 signatures short of the number needed in District 5 to constitute valid nomination papers. So that's basically our entire argument, because those signers were not registered at the address they listed.
You're not fire back yet?
Do you have any further questions?
Yes. On the ones he listed, some of them are not listed on here. Yes. Kelly,
Yes, sir.
the ones listed on your objection petition are not all listed on the certified copy that the county clerk's office provided you, not all
Okay.
of them. Have you, I noticed as you went down that list, several of them were missing on this list. Do you have other evidence that those people were not there, are not registered?
We'll stand by what was given to us at the county clerk's office. I'm assuming that these may have been done prior to getting the new, we had two sets of numbers. That one we got with a certificate, we'll use that as our evidence and verification. I still believe based off of what the county clerk submitted, they're still short of the number required.
It's 196 that are required, correct?
Correct.
How many were submitted?
I think I gave away all my copies of the,
Does the responding party have a number? You know how many signatures you collected?
I'm lost now at this point, Brendan. I know that a bunch of those people that he just mentioned are actually registered voters.
Well, I'm asking you one question. Do you guys know how many, I mean, we'll get to that, you'll be able to respond. I'm just asking you for convenience sake.
I think it was 220, sir.
Okay.
I counted 35 signatures per the county clerk that weren't registered at the address.
Yeah. There are 35 listed on your exhibit
Correct.
2.
Right.
There are 35 listed as not registered or not registered at that address.
Right.
And they submitted 226.
I don't know that.
I'm counting them.
Okay.
I have 219. Does anybody want to take a look at the original or count for themselves? Okay. I believe there's 219.
219, and there are 35 bad, or 35 that are listed on Exhibit B as not being registered or registered at that address.
Correct.
Would you like to hear from the other side now? Do you have anything else, Mr. Kelly?
That's all I have.
Who will be representing the other team?
Myself, Rob Willis, Chairman.
Okay, if you would like to, you can either stand, we have to be sure that the court reporter can hear you. So if you would like to address these issues.
All right, as we first stated on the petitions for objections, there's many not listed on the new report that he just gave. And also throughout these objections per lines, we also found that numerous amount of voters was registered in Cahokia. And if you'd like me to name those off.
Do you have a copy of that list?
Yes, I do.
Would you like to address the list 35 though, of the,
All of those are not on the
Yeah.
objection list.
Some of those on his new thing are not in the objection sheet.
we have, well, on this exhibit, we have, on exhibit 2, we have 35 people that are not registered to vote that are on your petition. And that's certified by our voter rolls, the IVRS.
It's off our walk sheet that we got from the St. Clair County Board of Elections.
You have any other copies of that?
I might have another.
I mean, they made,
We went line by line and made sure these people were registered.
And also on the walk sheets, they're not valid in itself because we found a lot of spelling errors and address. We had one case, the address was misprinted on the walk sheets for the election board, St. Clair County.
Do you have the, can I say where you generated this information from?
We pulled it from the,
St. Clair County walk sheet,
Yep.
election board.
from the walk list, page by page, but we addressed each item.
We also have them color coded. So
I'm sorry?
we also have them color coded so we could point out the mistakes that was made on the walk sheets.
give me just a moment here.
So, sir, for the responding party and for the objector, what I'm comparing is what you've given us to what we have from the county as certified, not what's in the petition. So I believe that the objector has stated that the petition, that the information that's received from the county clerk is the evidence which is positive in this case. So I'm just going to compare those two things because there may be ones on the objection petition which were in fact valid. So we're working off the number that we have from the clerk's office, not from what the objector's saying. So we're going to look, I'm just going to look at those two for a minute, please.
Doesn't make sense.
Give us just a moment here.
Can I ask you what the ones that aren't highlighted, what does that mean?
That's just registered voters that we found, but no problem.
Okay. I've reviewed the list you just provided us, and I don't think Mr. Kelly has objected to about 90% of yours. Excuse me, the Exhibit 2 does not include the people. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 6 that are in question. 2 of them are registered, but at a different address, and 4 of them are not registered currently with our data system.
And what 4 of those are those?
On page 48, page 1, Ashley Case, page
Can I-
44, page 3, Audrey Smothers, page 32, line 3, Anthony Jones, and page 16, line 4, Teresa Raines. All the other 2 that are at different addresses are page 15, line 2, Christopher Roach, and I will give you his, he is registered at 904 Wesley Avenue, Cahokia, and on page 38, line 2, Freddie Bray is registered at is registered at 326 Sojay Avenue, Cahokia. So So he isn't objecting to most of yours, or the exhibit does not disagree with you that many of these are registered on here, but that still leaves you short of the number of signatures you're gonna need.
Mr. Chairman, can I give a copy? I just want to make sure the objector has to see a copy of your exhibit also.
Would you like to look at those also, or would,
That's the same thing, I believe,
yeah, I
right?
mean, I've marked these, ones that were rejected, and I'll provide those to Mrs. Clay too.
Can I speak?
Another thing I'd like to point out on there, like I said, on the objection to the new exhibit that we did from the current objection that we received, a lot of these voters are not on that exhibit. For example, page 30, line 1 is myself, saying I'm not a registered voter, which I am, because you have to be a registered voter to uphold office.
Our department agrees, the election department agrees you're a registered voter. We're not even listed here. We're not listed here on Exhibit B, it's not listed. And again, of the list that he had, 90% of them, this exhibit does not disagree that they are registered voters, they are. However, there's the ones I listed for you that are different, and two are different addresses, and the other 4 were not registered. And those, we have the database for that, and that's a certified copy.
Do you mind if we, because at the end of this, though, either side has the right to appeal, do you mind if we take this copy you're giving us and submit it for the record in the event you want one to appeal? Okay, thank you. So, Mr. Chairman, if someone can maybe label that Exhibit 1, Respondents Exhibit 1.
We have stickers over
Oh, you got stickers? Oh,
Yeah.
even stickers? Stickers would be
Let me
great.
borrow a sticker. Make this exhibit, we already have Exhibit 2 here, and Exhibit 1 was their results of the election, so this be Exhibit 3?
It can be, yes, sir.
Or should theirs be separate?
So where's your guys' results come from? Does it come from the current walk sheet also?
No, it comes from the IVR, the Illinois State Voter System database that we have here in the office and provide.
So you were given a copy, they were given a copy,
I gave her a
correct?
copy, yes.
Okay, thank you. So that documentation, that's the official public record from the voter rolls.
So you went over all of these signatures, one by one. Okay,
We will,
get Freddie Brayfield,
if we can, first of all, we'll enter this as Exhibit 3. And then, if you'll stand and say your name,
Okay.
and then address the question.
okay, I'm Jessica McClellan. We went through this item by item by item. These are the ones that we found that we object to, your objection. Page 2, line 4, registered voter. Page 5, line 1, registered voter. Page 6, line 3, registered voter. Page 10, line 4, registered voter. Page 16, line 3, registered voter. 16, line 4, same. 24, line 1, same. 24, line 3, same. 24, line 4, same. 24, line 5, same. 25, line 1, same. Robert's girlfriend, by the way. 30, line 1, Robert, same. 33, line 3 is still registered in Cahokia, however, at the wrong address, but it's not untypical for county to make a mistake. Line 38, line 2, Freddie Brayfield at 326 Sojay Avenue. Well, he lives with his girlfriend, Carrie, right below, at 325. It's a typo on the county walk sheet. Line 44, page 44, line 3, Audrey Lee Smothers, she codes by Lee, so that's what that is. And line 48, or page 48, line 1, Ashley Case got married, and her name is Earhart now. So that is the one and the same person. Also, we found all of these, and I believe Mr. Radford signed a sheet saying he was totally what is true and to the best of his knowledge. And guess what, Jeff? If I could find this without a lawyer, you should have found it with one.
Again, Ms. McClellan, of the list that you have provided, under the exhibit presented, number 2, the vast majority are registered voters. There are 2 of them that are at a different address and 4 of them, those that are not registered at that address under those names.
County made an error. Let me place, where are we at with exhibits?
You were exhibit 3 on what you provided.
Okay, let's give you exhibit 4. This is the county walk list from 2016. It has 734 people that are more than 100 years old and 464 that are 116 years old, Tom. That walk list is not the gospel.
Another exhibit number?
I do
Yeah,
have
let
plenty.
me take it.
Okay.
This is a 2016 walk,
Absolutely.
so this is going on 3 years old.
Well, it is, but here, let me give
So
you.
ma'am, just so you
You
know
want
that,
exhibit 5, 6, 7, 8? I've got more.
so ma'am, just so you know, we're not even looking at walk lists, we're looking at the official record, what the official record is.
So you're telling me that the walk list is not a record?
It's a public record, it's a document generated, but for purposes of evidence and for
Brendan, this
purposes of-
piece of paper does not
And
match
you're
the
gonna have to let us,
objections.
we're gonna have to let us speak. When we're speaking, you have to let us speak. All we're looking at are the official records and a record that's been submitted with an affidavit. Let's take your argument that you are making and accept it for what it is, and that you have found ones that are differing from what the objector has made. I think you are correct, that there are ones that are in fact registered that has been objected to. So we have to examine it line by line and look at the total numbers. So I'm certainly willing to, the way I would vote would be to accept what you have submitted to us and look at the total numbers that are remaining. So I accept your argument, I certainly will. And if there's something beyond that you have to submit to the board, then please do so. But if not, we need to see if the objector has any response.
Again, 118 years old. Yes. Okay. All right, here's exhibit, where are we at, 4, 5?
It'd be 5, man.
This would be
Okay.
5.
This is the current walk list. It's got people that are 118 years old. That's ungodly. Family youth right here in St. Clair County. Here's another one. These guys, they weren't born until 43, but they registered in 1900. How did that happen? This is my point, that the walk lists are not always current. They registered years and years before they were born, and/or
Ma'am, do you have any
And/or.
other information as it relates to the specific objection?
no, my point is that simple. These walk lists are not the gospel. There's open to human error both up here at the county as well as through the process. We
Do you
shouldn't
have
be
any-
thrown off.
Do you have any?
Yeah, briefly if I may, I'm willing, and I apologize, I'm willing to strike any signature that is not included in what we received from the deputy clerk. I still believe that makes them at 184, which is 12 signatures short. And as far as the walk lists are concerned, I have no comment.
Chairman,
Oh, I'll also say, sorry, to cut you off, Mr. Kelly, but every objection, that is in the, county's, information is also in our petition. So it wasn't that these are county ones that weren't already in our objection, they were.
any more response to that from the respondent?
We found some lines on the county one that are not in the objections, as if they were added after the fact.
Well, that doesn't help your argument.
Another thing that I have is when we went by this, we went by the 2019 election guide, and we basically feel for us that we did the right thing. We also went off the walk sheet that was provided to us by StClair County. Other than that, we didn't have access to any other database. In that case, the primary purpose of signatures requirements is to reduce the electoral process to manageable properties by confining ballot positions to a relatively small number of candidates you have demonstrated initially and at least a minimal appeal to eligible voters. Candidates, court case Brasco versus Cusper, 7th Circuit, 1970.
Sorry, Brasco versus?
Yeah, the court case Brasco versus Cusper, 7th Circuit, 1970, 435 F2D. Also states that while we recognize the state's interest in regulating elections by setting such requirements, we also recognize the right of qualified voters to cast their votes effectively. Despite the fact that the candidates failed to comply with the minimum statutory signature requirements, under our interpretation of the statute, they have demonstrated at least minimal appeal to the voters. Denying voters access to an electoral ballot would be penalizing not only us candidates ourselves, but also the voters of Cahokia. It's in the interest of justice would best be served by allowing the Cahokia hometown team and our candidates to appear on the ballot on April 2nd, 2019.
Do you have any more questions?
I do not.
So, this is a tricky process for any citizen that's trying to participate in their democracy. So, the trend in the law has to be substantial compliance. Are you substantially complying with the law? That's what the case law has been trending towards. And that basically means, are the voters, when they look at it, are they confused about what they're signing? Is there any mystery about what they're signing, who they may be signing the petition for, so they know who it is that's trying to get on the ballot? I don't think there's any confusion created by any of your petitions. I think the voters who signed your petitions knew what they were signing for, and so I don't think that is a challenge for you. And that's not the objection. And I also think that the reason we have these rules is so that the clerk is able to put in order, clearly and logically, names on the ballot so people can go vote for the people that they petitioned to have put on the ballot. I don't think there's anything about what you've done in your petitions which creates any clerical confusion at all for the clerks. The one area of law that the Supreme Court in Illinois has repeatedly, and even recently in a case, was a StClair County case involving a mayoral election in East St. Louis. It's gone all the way up to the Supreme Court. You have to have the minimum number of valid signatures. So let's take the objector's argument and the amount that they are objecting to. Now that he's withdrawn several of those signatures, the number based upon just the clerk's record, not what he provided or not what you provided, but just the clerk's record in terms of voter registration. If you have 219 signatures, 35 of those were provided on this list. You have provided some information that then says you have indicated for page 15, line 2, page 16, line 4, page 33, line 3, page 38, line 2, page 44, line 3, and page 48, line 1. Those are the ones you said, Ms. McClellan, are valid. Let's accept your argument for that those are valid. That knocks you from, make sure I did the math right. That's why I'm a lawyer and not an astronaut. 184. Let's add the 6 back that you have. That puts you at 190, which still puts you short of the amount that's required by law. We're ruling at this point. Okay, you will be able to appeal. And now what the chairman will tell you is that you have the right to appeal. That's why we're making this record, and that's why I'm trying to explain to you what the decision is. So if you wish to appeal it, you're able to. You have
So
that
we're
right.
6 signatures short and you're gonna kick us off the ballot.
We're done with the argument. Now it's time. I would vote to sustain the objection.
There's a motion to sustain the objection.
Second.
Seconded by Mrs. Clay. We'll do a roll call vote. Ms. Clay?
Aye.
Mr. Kelly?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye.
We knew we weren't gonna get a fair fucking election anyway.
Yeah,
I'm
you
out.
have the right to
I'm
appeal.
out.
The judge may disagree with
You
you.
have a right to appeal on any of our decisions in any of these cases
You guys-
today.
Oh my God. Scott, we're out of here. Good luck. You guys are assholes.
Oh, you sure you wanna bring up your notary right here?
I'll start just taking them in order.
I would do the ones that are common argument. Can the two counselors approach briefly?
Yes, this is a new case.
Sir, I would just like to apologize to everyone here for what just happened.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
And I will,
On behalf of the Village of your hometown team.
and off the record, if anyone has a question on how to interpret those walk sheets or dates or times, we would be glad to go over that, because many times what you see is zeros or 99s or something, or state mandated requirements on how we file voters when we don't have information.
Thank you.
So do we need to stay, or are we ready to go?
Your case is done, you're allowed to take it to court if you disagree with our decision. You're free to leave, you're free to listen to the other ones, it's a public hearing.
I'd be arguing for that next year.
Should've done the notaries first, and then go back on the record. So you need some,
Can we go back on the record now?
Okay, can I, Mr. Chairman, can I ask the parties that are still present? Mr. Evans, you're representing Ms. Ayers, correct?
I do, yes, sir.
Are you,
I
you
would,
have two distinct groups, it appears, maybe,
If
if
I'm-
I'm interpreting it correctly?
if I may explain, of the people that are appearing today, most of them were running as one of two groups of teams. There is a group of team that I would call the McCall team, following the person running for president of the village. The other group would be the McClellan team with Whitworth as their head. My objections.
Is that the hometown?
That would be the hometown team, yes. Under McCall, and if I'm incorrect, let me know, but it would be Curtis McCall, Richard Duncan, Audra Baker, Gloria Ware, and Jeffrey Kent Radford.
Correct.
Under McClellan, it is Justin McClellan, Jamie Saito, Beverly Schrum, Robert Whitworth, Susan Reed. The objections that we have filed share the same arguments of law. The only distinction, instead of in the hearing that was just presented, there was a list, what I would call a master list of objected to names. I have provided names that I've objected to as not being valid registered voters for consideration. I broke those down per the individual candidate. So most of my objections, say to the McCall team, are the same principles and issues of law. The unique aspect to each of them would be depending upon their individual circulated sheet per district. That's how I identified objected to voters.
Within each objection petition,
Yes,
you identified signatures you're objecting to,
That
rather than carte blanche.
Correct.
Okay.
But the principle, well, there's two arguments. One is the signature argument. The other argument that I think is common to all and subject, if the electoral board would consider it to consolidation, is the argument over what I would call pagination.
Can I ask, is there anyone still left from the hometown team here? Okay.
The hometown team, the argument there, that they all share the same argument on that one. The principal issue is over the circulator's affidavit and the aspect of notarization of the circulator's affidavit at the bottom of each and every petition. The common fact that applies to all of them is the same notary, Ms. Rhonda Nichols, notarized every petition on the same date. That is a person that we seek to have subpoenaed here for the purposes of testifying as to whether the notarial process was correctly followed and whether the circulators properly completed their requirement.
Mr. Chairman, can we take up the issue of the subpoena in those cases right
Sure.
now? Is that okay?
Absolutely, there's no objection.
So,
No.
in the cases of Donna Ayers versus, can you rattle off the hometown team, please?
Yes, in Ayers versus Jessica McClellan, Jamie Saito, Beverly Schrum, Robert Whitworth, Susan Reed, we seek to subpoena the one and only person that notarized every petition. I believe you'll find that every petition was notarized by Rhonda Nichols on December 16th, 2018. There is much law that can be debated of the theories of strict versus substantial compliance, but not so much as to issues of the circulator's affidavit and the notary process thereof. All of those cases share that common issue.
Can I
Issue of
ask
fact
you,
and law.
within the objections that you've filed and those parties, Ayers versus Sato, for example, which objection, just for the record, is it 3A, 3B, which one is that is relevant to the notary?
3A, I identify the sections that state the circulator's statement must be signed by the circulator, and I relate into
Mr.
that.
Evans, would you tell us which case you're reading?
I'm sorry, I'm looking from Ayers versus Jamie Sato, and I would also state to the board, I don't think they've been numbered at any point in time.
And the objections against Sato and that objection 3A related to the notary, is that true for all the objections to Sato, McClellan?
It is. All 5 of the names of those we objected to. As far as each of them, it is number 3A that pertains to the circulator's statement and execution. And that includes the notarization process. And not to belabor the point, but irregardless of any other objections that have been made, the candidates may seek to appeal. And so it is a different theory, and I do wish to pursue it.
Okay, so in the case of Ayers versus Jessica McClellan, Ayers versus Susan Reed, Ayers versus Jamie Sato, Ayers versus Beverly Schrum, and Ayers versus Whitworth, you are requesting a subpoena for Rhonda Nichols based on objection 3A related to notarization.
That is correct.
I make a motion that we issue the subpoena.
Okay, there's a motion by Mr. Kelly to issue the subpoena for Rhonda Nichols.
Second.
There's a second by Mrs. Clay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Evans,
Subpoena will be issued.
the village, since we are simply sitting as replacements for the village board, we're not acting as a county entity, the village has provided the standard form for subpoenas and has the paperwork for you to be, for the chairman to be able to sign to issue that subpoena. We will then provide that to you, then you will have to effect service of process for that.
Thank you. In order to issue a subpoena, usually we would have to have a date.
Yes, we would. So what does the chair and the circuit clerk have to say about that?
And I would suggest it would need to be next week in order to allow the proper amount of time for service.
Yeah, I'm not available Monday or Tuesday.
How's the 17th look? Can we do 10 at the 17th?
Yes.
17th, okay with Ms. Clay?
That's fine.
Just a second.
Would it be in this courtroom?
We don't know yet. We will have to check availability with all the movement and shaking going on, so.
But it would be this courthouse.
Correct.
Correct. I do not believe that next week is a jury week, so we should.
It may likely be the county board since there's no jury week next week.
Okay.
We will
We can set it for
find out before the chairman signs it, we'll find out.
10 a.m. January 17th.
Yes.
10 a.m. January 17th will be our next hearing.
May I ask, will the village provide me, or the villages, a copy of the subpoena form, or do I need to go to the village office? How would that be?
We do have it.
In all candor, I've already prepared it,
Yeah.
Mr. Evans.
They did forward it to the board, so we can give you that.
Thank you very much.
I did, we will have to adjust it with the date, depending, you know.
That'll be provided for me to sign off on?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So, Mr. Chairman, if I'm looking at the list correct, we've heard Bradford and Baker versus the Cahokia hometown team. And now we have issued a subpoena for Rhonda Nichols in the cases of Ayers versus McClellan, Ayers versus Reed, Ayers versus Sato, Ayers versus Schrum, and Ayers versus Whitworth. Okay. So we have remaining one set of objections by Mrs. Ayers, and Mr. Evans is representing Ms. Ayers in that objection, and two individual objections made by Mr. Radford and Ms. Baker against Elmer Jennings and Trinice Hill, in which you, Mr. Evans, are representing the respondent. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Would you like to just start at the top then, with the very first on our agenda then, Ayers versus
I think
Baker?
so, sure.
All right. With that, we'll take up the case of Ayers versus Baker, District 1.
If I may, could I just, my appearance, and I also have a motion to dismiss, that would be good.
Can I ask you, Mr. Kelly, the end of appearance and the motion to dismiss?
Motion to dismiss is slightly different, for all of them, but not, I mean, only like two I think is slightly different for.
Okay.
Let the record show that Mr. Kelly, with the firm of Foley Kelly, was hereby entered his appearance in this case for Audra Baker.
Mr. Evans, I know that you've represented to the board that there's similar arguments in the objections by Ms. Ayers against those people who belong to what's been labeled the McCall team party. But I believe Mr. Kelly is indicating on behalf of the respondents, that there may be individual different motions to dismiss as preliminary matters, since they are different. I suggest for a proper and clean record that we need to argue each preliminary matter and dismiss individually for those.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chair, I would suggest we just hear any preliminary matters on Ayers versus Baker.
Are there any preliminary matters on for either side?
Well, I'm ready to proceed with the motion to dismiss. Basically, the crux of the motion is that, first, it's twofold. The first is that Ms. Ayers only listed Ms. Baker individually, as opposed to also by a party. Section 10.2 of the Election Code pertinently provides, the filing of such petition shall constitute the political group a new political party for the purpose only of placing upon the ballot at such next ensuing election such list or an adjusted list in accordance with section 10.11 of party candidates for offices to be voted for throughout the state, or for offices to be voted for in such district or political subdivision less than the state, as the case may be, under the name of and as the candidates of such new political party. And that any such petition shall be filed at the same time and shall be subject to the same requirements and to the same provisions in respect to objections thereto. So basically, the fact that candidates have to file as part of a party, the objection should also list the party. This one does not. It specifically lists Ms. Baker individually. And so it fails to name the McCall Good Government Party as required by section 10.2. The other issue is under section 10.8 of the Illinois Election Code. The objector must be a legal voter of the political subdivision or district in which the candidate or public question is to be voted on. So in this case, the petitioner failed to demonstrate that she's a legal voter in the Village of Cahokia District 1. So therefore, it should be dismissed.
The motion to dismiss comes as a surprise. I believe case law indicates that we should not be having hearings based upon the element of surprise or attack. And I would ask for additional time to respond, since we're already coming back on Thursday the 17th. I would ask for that. As far as the standing of Ms. Ayers, if she was put under oath, she would testify that she is a resident of District 1. Testimony at these hearings can be allowed, and that testimony can be addressed to issues of vagueness, to issues not established by the record. There are a number of pleadings filed that identify Ms. Ayers as a voter of Cahokia. Those are all before this hearing panel. She'd be placed under oath as to which district she lives in. that would cure that, but I would ask that this hearing be reconvened till the 17th in order for the petitioner objector, Donna Ayers, to have sufficient time to respond to this allegation.
So can I ask you, Mr. Evans, you're indicating that you filed a objector's petition stating that Ms. Ayers, and I believe she signed it as the objector, and said that this complaint has been examined by her and to the best of her knowledge and believes she is a true and correct complaint, meaning that to the best of her knowledge she is a voter in the district relevant to Ms. Baker. Does the respondent in their preliminary motion to dismiss have any evidence and support that she is not an eligible objector in District 1 for Ms. Baker?
If the board wants to conclude by her address that's placed on the objection that she's in District 1, that's fine, but then we have an issues with the objections that she filed in District 5 and District 2. So I mean, I mean, 2 of those 3 need to go away. We didn't know what district she was in.
Mr. Kelly, do you have also objections to, what are those districts 2 and 5, who are the individuals?
So that's the Donna Ayers versus Jeffrey K. Radford in District 5. It's also the Donna Ayers versus Gloria Ware, District 2. And we have the same motion to dismiss with regards to Section 10A of the election code.
Mr. Evans, do you wish to, do you have those motions on 2 and 5
I do.
as well? Can you provide a copy of that to Mr.
I don't
Evans?
have those.
I can give those to you.
Thank you.
I was just gonna go one by one, because I have so much stuff to hand out.
Show that it's providing evidence of both those 2 cases at this time.
Yeah.
So let the record show that in the 2 cases mentioned, he's providing exhibits for each of those, even though we're not on that case at this time, not relevant to this one.
Are those exhibits or other motions?
They're just motions.
Okay, so,
So also have entry, motion. Entry. Motion, this is for Radford.
May we take a break?
we can take a
You
5
mind
minutes.
if I just give you the stuff for Wares while we're at it?
Sure.
Let the record show that Mr. Kelly is, and his firm of Foley Kelly is an appearance for Jeffrey Kent Bradford Sr. And that was presented,
Thank you, Chairman.
and that a dismiss motion for that case was also issued, and that there is a enter of appearance that Mr. Kelly, the firm of Foley Kelly, is also appearing on behalf of candidate Gloria Ware. Take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we've been going for more than an hour. If we need to take a 5-minute break, that's understandable.
All right, we'll be at ease until